If I had to start over today with zero audience, no email list, and zero digital product sales, this is exactly what I would focus on every day for the next 30 days if I had to rebuild from scratch. This is the actionable plan I wish someone had given me when I first started, because it would have saved me months of doing things the wrong way. Now, before we talk strategy, the very first thing I would do is pull out my calendar. I want you to physically write down the date you're launching your digital product, regardless of whether this is your first one or your 50th one. This is a non-negotiable because a huge mistake many people make, myself included, is staying in research mode forever, watching videos like this one, saving posts, and tweaking their ideas, but never actually launching anything. Having this deadline makes it real and it creates the momentum you need to actually get it done. So pick a date, ideally 4 weeks from today, but it just depends on when you plan to take action on the steps I'm sharing here. Okay, so phase 1, days 1 to 7, is all about gathering information. In the first week, I wouldn't create anything yet, which is the exact opposite of what I used to do when I first started. I would sit at my laptop, get super excited about all the ideas that came to me in my sleep, spend hours and days putting together a bunch of digital products, publish them online, and then feel completely heartbroken when no one wanted them. Instead, now I would ask myself a few really important questions. What do I actually want to be known for? What do I genuinely enjoy talking about and can see myself creating content around? What do I already research and browse through in my free time? Because if you pick a topic you secretly hate, you're going to quit before you ever make sales. Of course, your idea has to be profitable, but it also has to start with you and what you can show up for on the days it feels harder. Next, I would get very clear on who I want to serve. And to be honest, even now, as my business has evolved, I still have to do this exercise every time I pivot or create something new. Because the thing is, you don't need to help everyone. You need to help one person really well. For example, right now with my new digital course, my focus is helping entrepreneurs sell their digital products using YouTube. That's my person. Educators, course creators, membership owners, coaches, people who want to grow an audience and turn that into sales. When I wasn't clear on this, I tried selling my YouTube course to anyone that wanted to start a YouTube channel, regardless of what it would be used for. And that made it really hard for me to attract the right people. When you try to speak to everyone, your messaging gets watered down and it won't really resonate with anyone. But when you speak to one specific person, your content becomes magnetic to them, and it'll be easier for them to trust you. I would then look at what already exists in the market. Are there similar digital products selling? Are people already paying for solutions in this space? Competition is a really good sign because it means people are already investing in solving the problem you can help with. So if I were creating an ebook, a mini course, or a membership, for example, on how to help babies and toddlers sleep through the night, I would just do a quick search in Google, like helping babies sleep course or helping babies sleep ebook, and see if I can find similar products with positive testimonials. I used to spend a lot of time on this, building out a huge spreadsheet of 20 competitors to really validate my idea. And honestly, this was just another way for me to procrastinate with busy work, when all you really need is a quick search on Google or social media to confirm people are paying for this solution. Okay, so I guarantee if you skip this next step, it's going to be really hard to sell your product. Every time I've had a product flop, I always link it back to me getting lazy and skipping this crucial part. I would have real conversations with at least 5 to 10 people that fit my target customer avatar. People I think would highly benefit from the product I'm offering. This isn't for the purpose of selling anything, it's purely just to listen and understand deeply what they need help with. So I would reach out to anyone I personally know that would fit this profile, whether that's a few friends, colleagues, neighbors, family members, etc. Then I would also ask my closest friends and family members if they know anyone that would fit this profile, so I can get a referral system going. If I had any social media presence, even if it's 100 followers, I would create a poll and ask who fits this profile and if I can pick their brain regarding something I'm working on. My goal is to figure out their biggest struggles, goals, and what they've already tried that hasn't worked. This is going to directly shape the product that I'm going to create for people exactly like them when I go to announce it. You don't need hundreds of responses for this. Just aim for 10 conversations, and you'll be so far ahead of the many people that skip this step altogether. So that's all I would be focusing on during week 1. This brings us to phase 2, days 8 to 14, which is all about making decisions. After I've gathered all this valuable information, I would choose one digital product to put all my focus on. I wish I learned this in the very beginning, because I promise you, it is so much easier to sell one really good product over and over again rather than try to market hundreds of them to the same audience. I don't want you to waste your time. So choose one product that offers one outcome and one transformation. This could be a template bundle, a mini course, a workshop, an ebook, a membership, or a coaching program. Whatever makes the most sense based on the information you gathered. And by the way, I actually created a full mini course on how to create a digital product that will actually sell. It'll walk you through all of this with step-by-step lessons and fillable templates to help you sell your next digital product. You can check that out in the description box below if you're interested. But as I mentioned, trying to sell multiple products from the beginning is one of the fastest ways to confuse people. Remember, clear messaging and clear focus is what sells. Then I would choose the software I'm going to use based on the product I'm creating. So if it's an ebook, I might use Google Docs, Kindle, or Canva to create it. If it's templates, I'd use Canva, Google Docs, or Notion. If it's a course or a membership, I'd use a simple course hosting platform, and there are so many to choose from if you do a quick Google search. Then I would create a rough outline of my product. And when I say rough, I mean bullet points of what I want it to include, because I'm not building it out yet. So if it's a mini course, I would pull up a Google Doc and start brainstorming the modules, lessons, and resources I would want to include inside. This way, when I go to launch it, I know how to market it and what benefits and features to talk about. I wouldn't spend more than maybe 20 minutes on this. This would all be based on my experience, how I've been able to achieve something that my customers want, and I would make sure I'm taking the conversations I had in phase 1 into consideration. So I'm building something based on what my target customer avatar told me they need out of a digital resource. At this stage, I'd also choose the one platform where I'm going to show up consistently. Don't spread yourself too thin and create an account on all social media platforms and search engines. The last thing you want to do is create a profile on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube all at the same time. Don't make the mistake of thinking that being active everywhere all at once is going to help you reach more people. That is a recipe for burnout and low quality content, because you're giving yourself way too much unnecessary work. So I personally like Instagram for social media and YouTube for long-term growth, because it's a search engine. Your content lives for months and years instead of disappearing after 24 hours. But the best platform is the one you'll actually stick to, especially in the beginning when you're just trying to validate your digital product idea with a handful of sales. So I would personally choose Instagram to launch my digital product if I have no audience, and I would commit to posting on YouTube as well moving forward in my business to help me attract new people every single day. If you want to start a YouTube channel for your digital product business, I have a free training down below for you to set it all up. Finally, I would set up a basic checkout page for my digital product. This is not going to be fancy. You just want to include a really nice mock-up image of your digital product, mention the key points covering what the product is, who it's for, what problem it solves, and the outcome it provides. So I'll actually just show you my basic checkout page that I have for my mini course that I mentioned earlier in this video. This is what it looks like, super simple. I actually just spent some time creating a really nice mock-up using Canva. You can create something very similar. I find that when you have multiple devices and multiple pages, it just tends to perform better. And then I just lay out step by step exactly what they're going to be learning, what I'm covering. I like to add in this section here to be clear on who this is for. So I say, this is for you if you want to sell educational digital products, etc. You can ignore this section. It's an order bump. So basically for anyone that wants to also gain access to my other mini course, which is selling digital products with Instagram, it's an extra $27. If you don't have an order bump, you could just ignore this part. And then the rest is pretty straightforward, the contact information and payment methods. You can create a similar checkout page like this using many different platforms. But if you want to use something for free, you can try PayHip, which I have a few videos on my channel showing you how to do that, and I can link one for you down below. So now that you've made all the important decisions throughout week 2, this brings us to phase 3, days 15 to 21, which is to pre-sell your offer. This is something I wish I learned way earlier and exactly what I teach step by step inside my mini course. I do not fully build digital products before selling them anymore. Instead, I always pre-sell. So whether this is your first digital product or your 10th, I would commit to a 5-day digital product launch at minimum. Every day during those 5 days, I would have a checklist beside me on the activities I can do to bring in potential leads and customers. I would focus heavily on who this product is for and what transformation it offers to that one person. Now remember, you made a decision back in phase 2 on what platform you're using to promote your digital product, or at least the pre-sale. So if you chose Instagram, you can utilize carousels, reels, and stories every day to talk about your product from different angles. I want to show you some examples of posts I shared a few months ago when I pre-sold my new digital product. And by the way, even if I was starting with a very small following, like 100 people, I would still do this. You don't need thousands of followers. You literally just need a handful of targeted followers, which would actually bring in way better results. This is a carousel example. You'll see I love to teach something as well as add in a call to action to check out my paid offer. So I say, this is what no one tells you about your first digital product launch. And then within this second slide, I give a call to action right away to comment launch if they want me to show how to plan, pre-sell, etc. So once they comment that word, they get an automatic DM from me with the paid offer. And that's a tool called ManyChat where you can automate your comments and DMs. And then I go ahead and start teaching everything. So you'll learn that people buy clarity and simplicity. It may not go exactly how you planned, and that's completely okay, etc. And then at the very end, I give another call to action. So similar to this one as well, I have my hook. Second slide has a call to action. Once they comment, they get the DM, and then I go into teaching. I wouldn't waste months creating a product no one asked for, and then continue teaching. And then at the end, I have the call to action again. To entice people to buy now, I would offer a discount to the first 5 buyers, for example, and maybe even grant them early access to the product. During this time, I would combine inbound and outbound strategies. So inbound would be those social media posts where you're kind of waiting for people to reach out to you or purchase your product. Outbound would be you actively seeking out your potential customers. You could reach out to the people you interviewed in phase 1, ask your friends and family members to help spread the word, and start connecting with new people in online communities who could eventually become your customers. Now, if I did all of this for 5 days and got no sales, I wouldn't waste days or even weeks building the product. It's that simple. I'd go back to the drawing board and figure out what I can tweak to make the offer more desirable and irresistible. And a lot of the time, it's something as simple as the price, the sales page, or the messaging. I wouldn't throw away all my hard work and start from scratch. I'd have more conversations, ask people what they'd need to see for this to be a no-brainer, and then I'd launch again. Once even 3 to 5 people buy, that's proof I'm on the right track. It's so much easier to find buyers first and then build, because then you're actually getting paid to create it. We come to phase 4, days 22 to 30 of this plan, which is to review, adjust, and attract. Once the launch is over, I'd review everything and ask myself what worked and what didn't. In other words, were there specific posts I shared or conversations I had that converted into my first few sales? Because if I did manage to make a few sales, I want to repeat the strategies that got me those sales in order to make more and more moving forward. If it didn't sell, like I mentioned, I wouldn't quit. I would tweak the messaging, clarify the outcome, and just try again until it sells. So if you manage to make some sales, you now obviously have to build out your digital product and deliver it to your founding members, of course. And the timeline will vary depending on what you're selling. But your next goal would be to gather testimonials and feedback to help you improve the product moving forward. This will help you sell it over and over again, because if you can prove your product does what it promises to do, it'll be much easier to sell. This is also the phase where I would shift my focus to building a freebie that's directly tied to the digital product I just validated. Because once you've proven people are willing to pay for this solution, the best next move is to attract more of the right people into your world. And that's where your email list comes in. You need to create a freebie that ideally becomes the first step toward your paid product. For example, when I was selling my Etsy ebook, my freebie was an Etsy master checklist that helped people get their Etsy shop set up and optimized if they hadn't yet. This naturally led into my ebook that helped those people get their first few digital product sales on Etsy. Then with YouTube, I have a free YouTube Views to Customers guide that teaches online entrepreneurs how to generate more leads with YouTube. This directly leads them into my YouTube course if they want further support from myself and the community. Your freebie could be a checklist, a short PDF guide, a cheat sheet, or a mini training. From there, I would choose a simple email service provider to deliver it and start building that list intentionally. You could use tools like Flowdesk, Kit, System.io, or MailerLite, just to name a few examples. So during week 4 and beyond, I would use social media and the search engine of my choice, in my case, I use Instagram and YouTube, to attract more of the right people through my content, get them onto my email list where I can nurture them every week, and warm them up to my paid product. Most of your digital product sales moving forward will come directly from your email list, and that's how you'll build a sustainable digital product business that doesn't rely on social media algorithms that you can't control. You can check out my mini course below on how to create a digital product that will actually sell. And when you're ready, head over to this video next so you can avoid all the digital product mistakes I made when I first started. So I'll see you there.